Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 8 deck lists for an event in France in Toulon, which I hope I'm saying correctly. This is likely to be my final coverage of Chapter 1 format. Of course, that's not certain. If between now and the release of Rise of the Floodborn there's something big that crops up that I think is worth covering, then I will. But I think this is likely to be my last coverage of this format. And yeah, I think Steel Amber is very clearly our defined champion of Chapter 1 format. As once again, they take home the crown. There are a couple of interesting things to mention going through these deck lists, but by and large, I think most people are ready for a new format. I know I certainly am, but this was still a big pool of data, and I still think it's definitely worth reporting on. This took place on November 4th. There were 64 players. It was to win a box. My information today comes from the Mushu report. Shout out to them for being a fantastic source of information, and very quickly they're able to get all this stuff up. They'll be linked down below with sources. Make sure that you're showing them some love. So yeah, Steel Amber with the most representation with 28% of the field and a 51% win rate, and as has been the standard through this format, Steel Amber being chased by Ruby Amethyst. This time far less representation. I think a lot of people have come around to the realization that it's just not performing as well as Steel Amber. In fact, I bet a good amount of those Steel Amber players were on Ruby Amethyst. But yeah, like much lower representation, but still second biggest piece of the pie. 52% win rate, which is higher, but again, it's nearly half of its representation, so that makes sense. Followed by Emerald Saphire with a 56% win rate, 11% representation, and then we have Amethyst Emerald Lockout at 8% representation, 55% win rate. Interesting to mention already though, not a lot of Amber Saphire, which has been doing really well, won a big recent event and has had good representation, and yeah, I'm surprised to not see much of that. Like, again, it's all the way down near the bottom of the pie, under 3% of people playing Amber Saphire, so definitely interesting. But let's take a look at the lists. We'll start off with our first place list, which is Steel Amber, and then we'll look at all the Steel Amber in a row. I just think it makes more sense to look at them that way. So yes, our first place list, I'm not going to try and say any of these names, but congratulations to all of them. But yes, we have some Steel Amber, Lantern, Rock songs. So we've got the full counts of our Stitch and Rockstar Stitch engine. We've got a 4-1 hook line, 4-4 for Simba's, Bodyguarder, and card draw, or milling through your deck. 4 of our area. We've got 2 Hades here. We see the 4 Rapunzel, which I'm really glad to see. Only 1 copy of Hans, which I think is fine. Just 2 Beast. Again, a higher count is quite common with our more successful Steel Amber lists, but in this field especially with like less representation from Ruby Amethyst than we're used to, I imagine this 2 count was probably fine, especially along with Hades, so yeah, sounds fine. Yeah, we've got 4 Tink, we're all the way on the Surfer Stitch, 2 copies of Smash, and then a full song count of 4 Be Our Guest, New World, Grab Your Swords, and then we see the 4 Lantern, which obviously is, you know, I wasn't a Lantern believer, and I do think the first few tournaments it was a good mix of with and without Lantern, but the last couple of big events, it has just been a standout performer. So yeah, I would say quite confidently that this is the best. Like, again, slightly different counts between different different versions, but by and large, I think this is probably the best list of Chapter 1. So yeah, congratulations to this person. We'll look at the other Steel Amber lists in top 8. This one looks pretty much the same. We only see the 3 Rapunzel, but the 3 Beast. We've got 2 count of Captain Hook here, which I originally said I think 2 is probably right, but after playing this deck a few times, I think 1 is fine, but again, preference call. Yeah, we see same count of Smash. Seeing less Fire the Cannons in these lists so far. But yeah, identical. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same, just slight differences between the Rapunzel, the Beast, and the Captain Hook, Thinking a Happy Thought. And no Hans in here. So yeah, just a few preference changes, but yeah, looks good. Next up, a slightly different version. We've got Steel Amber classical songs. So we're not playing the Rockstar Stitch, so we don't need the baby. We are running a full 4 of the Surfer. as far as the classical variant goes, which I call it classical if you're running the Hakuna Matata, as opposed and not running the Stitch, Rockstar Stitch engine. But yeah, I like the 4 Rapunzel count. We see the full count of the Tiny Tactician for that shifting. We see 4 Eric, only 3 Hook, which again, we're not running the shifters, that's fine. 2 LeFou for some extra aggressive pressure, with a 3 counter Beast, and then some... Cerberus is not uncommon to see. It's been a while since we've seen a 3 count, but I like it. I think Cerberus is really good. And then I really like the tech of Simba. Again, I think this is a really nice one-off in this deck, just being able to... again, it's slow, because you have to wait the turn, but being able to hit 8 is, I think, it's just was really strong in this format. So yeah, I like that as a tech. And we do see the 4 copies of You Have Forgotten Me as well. So yeah, looks good. We'll go back to second place now, which is normally reserved for Ruby Amethyst, but not today. Not today, Zerg. We have Emerald Amethyst Lockouts, which I dubbed just because I feel like that's the best description for what this deck, other than drawing cards, it just wants to stop your opponent playing the game in the way they want to play it, with things like Kuzco, Genie, Mad Hatter, Silver, Mother Gothel, all that sort of stuff. In that respect, only 2 counts of John Silver and opted for the 3 Mother Gothel. I think more commonly we're seeing more respect on John Silver. Well, not that this person wasn't showing them respect, but a higher count of John Silver to make it a 3, and then generally only seeing 1, maybe 2 Mother Gothel. But I like a high count of Gothel. I think that's fine. I think she's really good. We see the 3 Genie here. The obvious counts for Hatter, Kuzco, Tinkerbell, Hans, 3 Jasper, 4 Cheshire Cat. I'm recording this video just after we got the announcement of the shifted Cheshire Cat. Yeah, if you had recently taken this Cheshire Cat out of your Emerald deck, get ready to slide that bad boy right back in. But yeah, 3 Rafiki, 4 Maleficent for some Russian draw, 3 Megara to go with the Olaf for some nice aggro response, 4 Flynn Rider, we got the 4 Pascal, and 3 copies of the Owl. So yeah, looks good, and yeah, fantastic second place finish, so congratulations to this person. Next, going into our top 4 decks, we have some Saphire, Emerald, Ramp Control, because we are running the 4 Let It Goes, the 4 Hades, so we have those control, again, with the Genies and the Mother Knows Best, so yeah, like, that's essentially what we're doing. It is, like, aggressive, but yeah, like, I think that's the best way of describing it. So we see the 4 copy of Flounder, the citizens of Lorcana will be thrilled. 4 Flynn Rider, 3 copies of Grandma, we see 3 Philatites, all in on the Jasper in this list, 4 Mickey, 2 Hans, 2 Tink, the expected counts of Kuzco and Hatter, just 3 copies of Maleficent Uninvited, all in on the Genie, big 4 count, been a while since we've seen that, but I don't hate it. Genie is pretty great. Only 1 copy of Silver, I'd like that higher, but fair enough, preference I suppose. I think I probably would go 3 Genie and at least 2 John Silver though, but again, preference. 4 Robin Hood for some extra draw and evasive responses. On top of we do have Tinkerbell, which is, you know, as well as just being an evasive nuisance, it's good just to be able to give one of your other characters evasive to deal with opposing ones, but Robin Hood here to also serve that purpose and draw us cards. The Hades, the Let It Go, and the Mother Knows Best, as we mentioned. Then 4 Develop Your Brain, which we don't see all the time, but again, I like with this specific type of list with it's more mid-rangey. I quite like the Develop Your Brain, because sometimes you just need to find the right piece on turn 6, 7, whatever it might be. So yeah, looks really good, and congratulations to this person. Next up, the lone Ruby Amethyst control in this top 8. It was a good run, Ruby Amethyst. But yeah, we see the 4 copies of Sergeant Tibbs. We are a cat believer, this person. 3-1 Mickey line. I love the 1 Mickey. I do think 4 Broom is probably correct. But I prefer this over 4-3, I think. Nonetheless, 3 copies of Broom, 1 Mickey. By and large, this is one of my favourite Ruby Amethyst lists, though. We see 3 Elsa, which I really like, extra shifting potential, and just the ability to exert is just really strong. 4 Maleficent, we see 4 all in on the Aladdin for, like, easier shifting potential. 2 Zeus, I really like, and I have cut Rafiki as well. I think it just sets... It's just one of the best things to set up Rapunzel. So I cut Rafiki completely. And this person's done the same, and they got opting for the 2 Zeus, which I've not gone with Zeus, but like, again, I think that's preference, because I think Zeus is really good. So yeah, I really like this call. Only 3 copies of the Queen. We see no LeFou here and only 1 Shield of Virtue, so fair enough. 4 Maui, 2 Ursula, 4 Aladdin, 3 Elsa, 4 Maleficent, 4 Dragon's Fire. I'd probably like that Dragon's Fire to be a 3 count. Because you are running the Broom engine. Like I said, only 3 of the Broom itself, but if you're going to run the Mickey as well, I mean, like, I'll be honest though, I do think like 4 Broom and no Mickey, I would probably go. I'm currently on a 4-1 line. But yeah, again, preference. 4 friends, 4 be prepared. Not fan of the item count. I've said this many times. I think Shield and Pocket Watch are just too important. And like can just open up such great swings or abilities for you to come back. So I do like those at a higher count, but can't ignore data that a lot of Ruby Amethyst lists that are topping are just running 1 of each, so gotta respect it. And 2 copies of Mirror. So by and large, yeah, I really like this Ruby Amethyst list, so congratulations to them. I should have done this one when I looked at the other Emerald Sapphire deck, but this one is slightly different, but we'll do this now, making top 8. We see 4 Duke and 4 Flounder, so all in on those 1-drops. 4 Flynn, 4 Cheshire, 4 Aurora, just 1 copy of Jasper, just to hopefully win that race, slow your opponent down a little bit. 4 Jasmine, none of the shifted one. We see 4 Hans, 4 Tink, 4 Kuzco, 4 Hatter, 3 Aurora. I'd like that to be a 4 count. 4 of the Donald with Ward, which I'm not a big fan of. He gained a little bit of popularity sort of like mid-season and then dropped completely as far as my experience showed me, both in playing and like I watch a lot of other content creators games on Pixelborn and such like, so he seems to just fall off. But this person with a 4 count and obviously top 8'd, so Donald put in a lot of work for them, but I still think I'd like the 4 Aurora at the very least. But we see 4 Maleficent, 4 Let It Go, and 4 Eye of the Fates. But yeah, list looks good. Again, I just like the 4 Aurora. I really like the high count of 1-drops in this list in particular as well. But yeah, looks smooth, looks strong. And our final list, a little bit of spice. We have Amber Ruby Aggro Control. Very much gained popularity, I think, after the Steadfast Ducky video went out, where they were crafting this deck to its most successful potential. But yeah, Amber Ruby Aggro Control. 4 of the Baby Stitch, none of the Rockstar. We do see 2 Surfer 1 for some card draw later on. So I'm guessing this Baby Stitch is here mostly to act as the 1-drop, but also throw your opponent off. It's definitely, that's definitely going to play into it, the psychology of just, they don't know you're not running the Rockstar, but you've got the Baby 1 out when it's turn 3 onwards. Then they've got to respect that you could do it. So, psychology, something to take into a note. 4 Gaston, 3 LeFou, 4 Aladdin, 3 of the Lost Voice. What's the name of her ability? I can't remember. But the one that can't sing. That Ariel, all in on the Hades for some recycle of our core characters. 4 Rapunzel, 4 Maui, 2 Stitch to be annoying with that 4/6 stat line and 3 Lore Pips. Just Tigger here, evasive wise. We see no Pongo, we see no Goofy. 4 Aladdin, only 3 Maleficent, which I don't hate, to be honest, in this particular deck. I do understand. You've got the 2 dragons, but like they're not all in on removal. They've got it as an option, but it's like it doesn't have to be their be all and end all, and they're just giving themselves a better early to mid game. So I respect it. 4, You Have Forgotten Me to be annoying. Dragon's Fires, as we mentioned. 4, Be Our Guests. Just to search out your key pieces when you need them. Sometimes you need to find that Maui, Rapunzel, Surfer Stitch, Aladdin to shift, or Maleficent just on the right turn. So if you really like that. 1 Shield and 4 Lantern. I have played against this deck a couple of times on the ladder. I might end up using. I actually recorded the games, and I might end up using that as footage for my last in-depth analysis video I do before Rise of the Floodborn. But yeah, looks a lot of fun, this list. I've not tried it. My experience against it, I've never struggled too much. But again, like that's a small pile of data. I haven't played as much as I really wanted to this format. But it did very well here, and I've seen it piloted to success by other people, including obviously Steadfast and Ducky when they were demonstrating it. So yeah, looks good, looks a lot of fun. So congratulations to this person. And that's it for our top 8 lists from the Tourlun event. I really hope I'm saying that right. Like I said, this is probably going to be my final coverage of deck lists before Rise of the Floodborn. Again, if there is a big event that comes up that I didn't know about, then I will do it. But this is likely to be the last one. In the time between now and Rise of the Floodborn, I'm going to be getting out one more fun deck meta video, and I want to get out a tier list video where we re-rate all of the chapter 1 cards a lot quicker than my original analysis of them, which was like 6 1-hour videos long. It'll be a lot quicker than that. But yeah, that's 2 videos that I expect to get out between now and Rise of the Floodborn. The first, as far as my research has been able to tell me, the first big tournament that's going to be happening after Rise of the Floodborn hits is going to be at the TCG Expo in Liverpool in the UK. Again, I could be wrong. As far as I can tell, that's the first big event. It's on the 18th. There's a chance I'm going. I'm not 100% certain yet because I have to take a lot of things into consideration. I'm a full-time carer for my mum, so if I'm going to be away for a couple of days, I need to make sure that there are arrangements made for her. And even though I'm in the UK, it's still like a few hours away, and I would have to find hotels. And I'm not sure if I can financially afford it yet, but I'm trying to make it work so that I do. If I do, obviously there'll be footage and stuff, and I'll get to play, which would be great. But even if I don't, either way, if I do or don't, then I will be covering the top 8 list for that and hopefully get that video out by like the 19th. So those are things that are to come. And again, like with our Fun Deck Meta series, and once Rise of the Floodborn hits, we've got so many more characters that we can use. And yeah, I want to do more videos post Rise of the Floodborn covering more different types of decks, because I think that's the only thing I didn't do as well this season. I was good with getting the deck lists out, and I did some gameplay stuff and some Fun Deck Meta stuff, but I should have done more videos like trying out different decks, because I was just so on the Ruby Amethyst boat. But next season I definitely want to get more videos out like trying everything, so expect that. Thank you so much for your support. If you've been here for just this video or from the beginning, we've grown incredibly in the two and a bit months that we've been going. We're nearly at 500 subscribers, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. Humble brag as well, we got the follow from the official Disney Lorcana Twitter, which I was really proud of, and I'm really hoping I can continue to build the channel and make content that you guys enjoy. And it would be so great to be able to work with Ravensburg one day. I said it from day one, I want to cast when they do proper tournaments. That would be the big dream. But I also really want to play. I'm also very competitive, but my point being, I'm so grateful for all the support. Thank you so much. If you're brand new to the channel, please do subscribe for future Lorcana content. Hit the like button to show that support, and we'll see you soon.